The Roots Beneath Black Hollow. Part 1 of 4. The Coming of the Hollow. The road to Black Hollow wound through the forgotten hills of northern Pennsylvania, where the air hung heavy with the smell of rain and the sighing of distant pines. The map said the place was barely a town anymore, a scattering of farmsteads and a shuttered sawmill. But to Professor Edward Harland, it was the end of a question that had haunted him since boyhood. He had always been drawn to old things, to what lay buried beneath the stories of men. When word reached him of strange carvings surfacing on the trunks of century-old trees, shapes no botanist could explain and no historian could identify, he felt that pull again, that quiet whisper in his blood that said something waits to be uncovered. The telegram had come from a forest ranger named Jonas Thorne. It said only, "The trees are moving. Come if you must, but come soon." Lydia, his wife, came because she loved him too much to let him go alone. She was a painter, quiet and perceptive, the kind who noticed the color of clouds before a storm or the exact pattern of frost on a window. As their truck rattled along the muddy road into the valley, she pressed her palm to the glass and whispered, "Edward, do you feel that?" He glanced at her. "Feel what?" "The ground," she said softly. "It's humming." He would have dismissed it as imagination, but he felt it too, a faint, steady vibration through the tires and into his bones, as if something vast and unseen pulsed beneath the earth. The road narrowed, the trees crowding close until daylight became a thin silver thread overhead. Moss covered everything, rocks, trunks, even the fence posts leaning like exhausted sentinels. It was an ancient forest, untouched by axes or fire, the sort of place where silence had weight and time moved differently. A weathered sign appeared from the mist.
Lydia knelt beside it, tracing a line with her fingers. These grooves, they're smooth, like something melted the stone. Thorne shifted uneasily. We tried digging around it. The ground wouldn't give. Every time we came back, the hole was filled again. Like the forest didn't want it exposed, Edward set down his satchel and took out his camera. This could predate any known culture in the region. The workmanship, it's deliberate. He aimed the lens, but as he pressed the shutter, the ground trembled. The camera slipped in his hands. From somewhere deep below came a muffled sound, a long, low moan that seemed to move through the earth. Lydia gasped. "Did you hear that?" Thorne's face was pale. "That's why I called you, Professor. It happens every few nights now. Some say it's the wind in the caves, but I've been here 30 years. The ground shouldn't breathe." Edward crouched beside the monolith, placing his palm flat against the stone. It was warm, too warm, and beneath the warmth he felt a slow pulse, steady and deep, like the beat of a colossal heart. He withdrew his hand. "How far do these markings spread?" "All through the hollow," Thorne said, "and they're growing. Every week there's more." They returned to the cabin as dusk fell. Thorne built a fire but kept glancing at the windows. The forest pressed close outside, silent except for the faint creak of trees shifting in the dark. Lydia sat by the fire, sketching the monolith from memory. Her hand moved quickly, almost feverishly, the lines of her drawing forming strange spirals she hadn't intended. "Lydia," Edward said softly, "that pattern, you're repeating it." She looked down at her sketchbook, startled. "I didn't mean to. It's just, my hand moves that way on its own." Thorne rose suddenly. "Don't draw it. Don't bring it inside." The hollow remembers shapes. Before either could answer, a sound rolled through the valley. A deep, distant groan, like thunder, though the sky was clear. The floorboards shivered. The fire flickered. Thorne grabbed his rifle. "It's starting again." He flung open the door. The forest was black as pitch, but from somewhere beyond the tree line came a glow, a sickly green light pulsing in time with that subterranean heartbeat. Edward stepped onto the porch, staring. "Good God!" "It's under the ground." The ranger turned to him, eyes hollow. "No, Professor. It is the ground." The wind rose suddenly, carrying with it a sound that was not wind. 1,000 whispering voices murmuring in rhythm, their cadence too deliberate to be random. Lydia clutched Edward's arm. "What are they saying?" she whispered. Thorne's voice was low, trembling. They're saying welcome. By the time they reached the ranger's cabin, the sky had gone the color of old iron. Jonas Thorne stood on the porch, a tall figure with a beard gone gray and eyes too tired for his years. He didn't smile when he saw them. "You shouldn't have come," he said. Edward stepped forward, extending his hand. "Professor Harland, Boston University. This is my wife, Lydia. You sent the telegram." Thorne nodded, but didn't take his hand. "I hoped you'd ignore it. People who come looking for answers in these woods don't find them. Or if they do, they wish they hadn't." "Tell me about the carving," Edward said. The ranger hesitated, then motioned them inside. The cabin smelled of pine resin and cold ashes. On the table lay a spread of black and white photographs, trees with bark twisted into spirals, strange ridges that seemed to bulge beneath the surface like veins under skin. "These started appearing a year ago," Thorne said. "First on the east ridge, then all through the hollow. We cut some of the trees down. The same markings were inside the wood, clear to the core. As if the trees were born that way, Lydia leaned close, her brow furrowed. "They almost look like faces." Thorne's mouth tightened. "Don't say that. The old folks here used to call this place the Listening Wood. Said if you spoke about it out loud, it would hear you." Edward smiled faintly. Old superstition. But when he looked again at the photographs, the smile faded. The spirals weren't random. They had rhythm, almost writing if you looked too long. "What happens to the people who live here?" Lydia asked. "Most left," Thorne said. "A few stayed. But the forest's been taking them, one by one. They hear things, voices mostly. Some start walking out into the trees at night and don't come back." He turned to Edward. "You said you study old things. The university ever teach you about what came before?" Edward frowned. "Before what?" "Before us," Thorne said. "Before men." That night, the Harlands slept in the spare room. Rain beat the roof in steady rhythm. Sometime near midnight, Lydia woke to the sound of whispering, faint, like wind slipping through cracks. She thought it came from outside, until she realized it was beneath her. The floorboards trembled slightly, a breath rising from the earth itself. When morning came, the mist never lifted. They set out into the hollow with Thorne leading the way, the forest swallowing them within minutes. The farther they went, the thicker the air became, heavy with a scent like wet stone and iron. No birds sang. Even the wind was gone. It was Lydia who noticed it first, the low vibration again, rising from the roots. Each step made the ground quiver, faint but alive. Thorne stopped at a clearing. "Here," he said, "this is where the loggers found the altar." At first, Edward saw only a tangle of roots and moss. Then his eyes adjusted, and he realized the mound before them was no natural formation. Beneath the moss lay a monolith of black stone, its surface carved with those same spiraling lines, some so deep they vanished into shadow. "Good Lord," he whispered, "it's enormous."